welcome back to the plot. Getting on for the end of April now, and it's been absolutely hectic few weeks down here, and my nan has been asking for an update on what's been going on down here. So here we go. This is the end of April plot tour, especially for you, Nan. So at the entrance here, I've planted up some tubs of flowers, got lupins, dahlias, nasturtiums, and on the archway there's some sweet peas that are just starting to get going. They're hopefully going to make a beautiful display up that side of the archway. And on this side, that rose is putting on some new growth, looking nice and healthy. The tulips have been looking lovely the last few weeks. Behind them there's some more lupins and dahlias. And then next to that there's the herb bed, and as you can see there, the Egyptian walking onions are starting to do their alien thing. Looking good. So they're quite happy there. And then the chives just about to burst into flower. Looking lovely. And then just to the right of the herb bed, I've got this bed, which I built primarily for the artichokes, but I've chucked in a few rhubarb crowns that were being dug up from another bed that was being taken apart. But I don't think this rhubarb is particularly happy here. It's all going to seed this year. The stalks are just stumpy and very green. So I probably should get round to taking all of that out. I've got tons of rhubarb at home. I don't need this rhubarb here. And then I could probably put some more flowers in front of the artichokes. The artichokes would probably appreciate it actually, because then they wouldn't be getting smothered by the rhubarb leaves all the time. Coming into the front part of the plot, the wisteria is just starting to flower. And on a nice sunny day, that will be absolutely covered in bees. On an overcast day like today, nothing is around. Well, actually, I've just spotted a bumblebee buzzing around up in the apple tree, which is just looking incredible. Look at that. All of our apple trees this year have put on an incredible display of blossom, which hopefully will translate into a great apple harvest, but we'll have to wait and see on that. And then the strawberry bed, there's flowers, but not a lot of green growth, or not as much green growth as I was hoping for. Some of them doing better than others. That one there is looking great. That one there has got some flowers on it, but I'm not sure how well that's going to do. But I don't have any shortage of strawberry plants. They're growing wild everywhere, so I'm not so worried. Any that die in that bed, I'll just dig up others to replace them with at the end of the season. This is the bed that the rhubarb crowns came out of. It's supposed to be being dismantled, and this is supposed to be becoming a seating area, but we've got that ginormous, well, I think there's a josterberry, there's some currant bushes, and there's a blackberry in that bed at the back there. Yeah, so that's a lot of work to clear that. It'll get done eventually. And look at that, my beautiful little hibiscus there. Probably needs up potting or putting in the ground, but I'm not 100% convinced on where I want to put it yet. One thought I've had is, let's go back over this way, past my bucket of sweet peas. One thought I've had is putting it in this little area here, behind the bench, underneath the wisteria, and turning that little patch there into a little garden. Put some bulbs in, maybe some hellebores. I feel like I need some hellebores in my life. But yeah, at the moment it's just a bit of a mess. Hasn't been maintained. Got nettles and brambles growing up in there that all need to be dealt with. But the whole plot needs to be dealt with. So, yeah, priorities. And sometimes you just got to sit and stare at the blossom because it's gorgeous. Overwintered lettuces, looking good. Probably about ready for harvesting, really. Should probably do that. This hosta is not just sitting here because it's been abandoned, although really it has been. But this is my slug test hosta. That's what I'm going to call it. It's been a really, really dry spring, and there's been a tiny bit of frost damage on there, but that's my fault for leaving it out. But absolutely no slug damage whatsoever. And last year, I struggled to keep this thing alive because it kept getting eaten so badly. So yeah, great big difference this year. Then into the greenhouse where we have 1 or 2 peas growing. These I started really early, in February actually, and they've been in the greenhouse the whole time. This is the American Wonder variety, and they've just been incredible. It says they're only supposed to get to about 2 foot high. These are a bit more than that, but never mind. But they've just started to flower and produce pods. And I've got this tub here, and then over the back there's 2 more tubs, and that one in the corner went. Yeah, I'm going to struggle to get to that, but this table is going to be moved out hopefully within the next week. But there's just, yeah, so many pods forming. Looking forward to those. I feel like I'm just making a giant to-do list at the moment, but here's another thing for the to-do list, and that's to continue thinning out Caleb's carrots. I did start on that end of the pot, ran out of time after pulling out several hundred. Still got the other half of the pot still to do. We'll get there. Down here, the thyme is coming into flower. Such tiny, tiny little flowers. Yeah, this is another one that is the bees' favourite, so looking forward to seeing lots more insects on it as they open up. Some poor neglected brassicas over there. I've run out of space in my brassica beds, but I've still got all of those kale plants that desperately need a home. Need to find somewhere to put them. There's some rather sad looking tomatoes and some very fantastic looking peppers. Really happy with how my sweet peppers have started off this year. I'm hoping to actually get a harvest. Wouldn't that be nice? Something else I don't yet have a home for, and that's this amaranth. I really do want to get that planted out. I just don't know where. More lettuce. Common theme, as you'll see as we go around the plot, is there is lettuce everywhere. All the squash germinating, coming through, looking good. Some more healthy looking tomatoes this time, but do need uppotting. Need to get on that. Onions that I don't have space for. Marigolds that I don't have space for. Really, really, really need to create some space. Oh, let's go this way. So I know I said that I wasn't going to put raspberries on the plot once upon a time, but then I got some raspberry canes and I needed somewhere to put them. So I built a bed. So these have been in a couple of weeks now. Some of them you can see are doing well. There's a bud opening up on that one. Some of them still just look like sticks in the ground. Oh, that one's, there you go, that one's got a leaf on it. That's good. Yeah, I'm hoping I get more than 2 out of all of those, but we'll see. We'll see. There's a hugel culture bed still covered up. Still lots of grass roots under there that need to die and rot down. And then the pear tree, which need to do a little bit of investigating and find out what is causing this leaf curl. I don't think it's an insect problem. But yeah, it had an absolutely amazing flush of blossom on it, but now the leaves are not looking wonderful. So yeah, I'll have to see what I can do about that, if anything, because this does produce delicious pears and I'd hate to lose it. If it's something that I can fix or something that can fix itself. Continuing the theme of spectacular blossoms, this apple tree is just looking gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. As is that one there. And that one at the back there. That's the one that when we got the plot, it basically looked dead. There was a top half to it that was entirely dead, and the bottom half was buried under brambles. And we cut all the brambles back, and last year that tree came back to life with a few scraggly leaves on it and I think 1 or 2 apples. But this year, now we've cut all the dead stuff off of it, it's just looking fantastic. It's like it's got a new lease of life. Beautiful. And here, not showing up too well on camera because it's all thin and sticky, but this is the willow house in progress, built out of one of our plot neighbours' willow cuttings, some of which are looking fantastic, getting some really good growth on them. Others are, well, yeah, looking like they might do something, but well, it's another one of those wait and see things. But there's plenty more willow where that came from. Please excuse the lorry. Yeah, one of the big downsides to the location of my plot is its location between the chemical factory on that side and the bingo hall on that side. It can be beautifully serene, sat here by the pond, listening to the birds singing. And then sometimes you remember that you've got industry right on your doorstep. And the bingo calling from about 10 in the morning all the way through to late in the evening. It's non-stop. So, yeah. But doesn't the pond look nice? So we have plugged 2 holes that we found in the liner. There may be more, but one of our big issues at the moment is we're just not getting enough rain. So that's one of the reasons why the level is so low at the moment, even with those holes plugged up. Need to figure out something to do with that, some way of getting more water down here. Plum tree. Let's ignore that big pile of rubbish. That's all from the broken polytunnel. Needs fixing. Cherry tree. Noisy chickens. Good morning, noisy chickens. We're still under housing restrictions here in East Yorkshire, so this outdoor area that I've constructed for them, fully netted, so it meets the requirements, just so that they've got a little bit of access to some grass and some areas to scratch up and hunt for bugs, which as you can tell by the fact that they're all out here right now, they're very much appreciative of. And the mini polytunnel is still a work in progress. We do have the plastic to cover it. What we don't have is, well, what I don't have is enough back strength to dig the trench to put the plastic in. But the guys did start on it the other day. So we've got about 1.5 sides dug, but still a way to go. You know, we can get the plastic in, get that trenched in, and then I've got bed space in here that still needs prepping, ready for the coming season. So the plan for this polytunnel is pretty much as it was last year, with tomatoes, sweet potatoes and peppers in here. But yeah, that entire section at the back there that is currently grass, that all needs to be dug up and get some compost down on that, get it turned into a good bed. But yeah, we'll make progress, just slowly. So, okay. Right, and here we are at the back of the polytunnel, and this area, oh, excuse me, chickens bobble, is the brassica area. The plan is to one day cover the entire frame with butterfly netting rather than having the individual beds covered. That probably won't be this year though. For now, we'll just cover the individual beds. So we've got onions, garlic. That's actually the other way around. That's onions, that's garlic. More lettuces. Lettuces are everywhere. In this bed here, let's have a look. We've got some, oh look at that, lettuces and some cabbages. No, those are cauliflowers, and that one is not looking wonderful. Should probably pull that out and replace it with something else. This bed is the shallots. First time ever growing shallots, but they look like they're doing what they're supposed to do. They don't grow like onions, that's for sure. There's one lonely little greyhound cabbage in there because I ran out of other space to put it. And there's onions that, unsurprisingly, are going to seed. These are all last year's onions that didn't do very much last year, so I just threw them in here to see what would happen. Turns out what's happening is they're going to seed. So there we go, now we know. Oh, that's exciting. Right, we've got some carrot activity, more chicken squabbles. So what we've got in here is 3 rows of carrots currently. We've got, no, that's a weed. There we go. We've got the first row is a purple carrot. I can't remember the name of it, but it was in one of my other videos. Then the second row is a standard orange carrot. And those are coming up really well, but then so are the weeds. And then the third row, most recently planted, just starting to pop their heads through. And that is, I think, the Chantenay red cord carrot, I think. Yeah. So now they're up, I'll get that bed weeded a bit and then put in a 4th row. Well, I've got space for 5 rows at a time in that bed. So, well, that's the plan. Oh, one of the chickens got out. How did you get out? Why are you out? And she's one of the youngsters, so she's going to be an absolute pain in the backside to catch. Right, I'm going to do that off camera. It's easier that way. There we go. Somebody's not happy that she got caught. Let's go pop her back in, shall we? Hey? Well, so the 4 younger chickens have only just moved up to the plot, and so we're still working on integrating them with the older birds, aren't we? Hey? Yeah. It's not going so well at the moment, is it? Not for you today, anyway. Come on, let's pop you back in. There she is. She wants to get back to her 3 little friends, but she can't because the chickens are all blocking the doorway, aren't they? Yes, that's the four young birds all hanging out together there. And there's that big mean light Sussex chasing them. Yep. So the last 3 beds here, we've got can't remember the name of that. I think it's Spigariello. Kind of a bit like a sprouting broccoli kind of thing. Brussels sprouts in the middle, more greyhound cabbages there. And then in this one, we've got cabbages. I think those are greyhounds as well. The kale is the emerald ice. It's supposed to have really white veins. And I guess kind of. They're more of a pale green, really. And then in the last bed, we've got red cabbages that I can't remember the name of. And also a red spinach. Let's get a closer look. Oh, there we go. Red Ladero. Yeah, and this spinach with the red veins is really, really pretty. I like that. Haven't harvested any of it yet, so I don't know what it tastes like, but I'm sure it'll be good. So this is my red veg bed. And then the net is weighed down with these 2 little gooseberry bushes with tiny, tiny little gooseberries on them. I've never eaten a gooseberry, so I've no idea if I'm going to like them. I guess if you add enough sugar to any fruit, it's going to be good, isn't it? Another little gooseberry bush on the other end. Very, very prickly gooseberries. I didn't realise that. We've got super sharp thorns. Right. So here we are in the main run, in the big polytunnel. This is where most of our beds are currently. So on the right hand side, no, Let's try again. On the left hand side, we've got broad beans and lettuce in the first bed. The second bed is more lettuce. We've got loose leaf lettuce, lamb's lettuce, there's some mizuna, which technically isn't a lettuce, I think it's a mustard. And there's also things like spring onions and beetroot in that bed as well. And then the next one along is empty. The next one beyond that has got a few leeks and more lettuces. And then the next one beyond that has also got a few leeks in, but those beds haven't been planted up yet because I'm saving them for tomatoes this year. And on the right hand side in this first bed, we've got various root crops. So there's Jerusalem artichokes at the back, oca in the middle, which is just starting to come up. So this is my own saved oca from last year. It popped out into the bed. And in front of that is the Chinese artichokes. I've got thousands of those things. I didn't realise quite how many I'd failed to harvest last year, and they started popping up all over the place, so I dug them all up and popped them into this bed here. And yeah, they're taking over the world. So I'm going to have loads and loads of roots out of this bed this year, hopefully. Next up, oh, look at that, more lettuce. Crammed lettuce into every space I can possibly put it. So that's some more lamb's lettuce at the back here, and some more leeks. I'm just waiting for them to get to a bit better size for harvesting. There's a few rows of radish in this part of the bed, just starting to come up. And then this was supposed to be my Florence fennel, the bulbing type of fennel. It never did bulb last year, but I left it for the foliage because it looked pretty. And they're all coming back up. I probably shouldn't really keep them. I'm not doing anything with them. But they still look pretty. There's some more of my creeping thyme there. A whole bed of onions that until very recently didn't look like they were doing much, but I think we had a bit of rain last week and I think that's got them going. This is what I mean about the strawberries growing like weeds. They've escaped from the bed and they are going everywhere. I didn't actually want strawberries in this bed, but look at that. These are looking so fantastic. I'm just going to leave them here for now. But at the back there we've got the pea frame, and the peas did get a little bit nibbled when I first put them out by the pigeons, but since I hung up my green sparkly things, the pigeons seem to have been staying away from them, so that's nice. And then there's in there also there's a row of rhubarb chard. They're looking better than they were when I planted them out. They looked all floppy and like they weren't going to do much when I planted them out, but they're all upright again now, so that's good. And then this bed of onions, believe it or not, was only planted 2 weeks before that previous bed, and yet the difference in growth, we must have just caught these at the right time for planting, because these are just looking really good. So these ones are all started from sets. I'm really crossing my fingers and praying that they don't bolt. And then at the front there's a row of elephant garlic, and that is also from our saved elephant garlic that we grew last year. And then there's an empty bed. Just finished building this one. Nothing in it yet. This raised bed here came from the home garden. Again, it wasn't really being used, so we decided we can put it to better use at the plot. So that got moved down, filled and planted within about 3 days actually. I got that done really quite quickly for me, and this has just got all sorts of things in it that I'd started from seed. So this plant in the corner here is called agretti. Quite a savoury thing apparently, a little bit like, no, I can't remember. I can't remember the name of the thing that it's like. Samphire. Maybe it's like samphire. But apparently has quite a salty taste. My first time growing it, so I have no idea. There's a few wallflowers and some violas. I've got some dill and cumin and coriander, nasturtiums, more Lowndes lettuce. There's some parsley in there somewhere. Where did I put the parsley? Oh, there it is. Some parsley and some calendula, thyme. So yeah, so just a real mishmash of things. Probably far too much for the space. We'll see how it goes. Oh, I forgot I did that. There's my little sunflower forest. Planted loads out yesterday. They've all survived the night, so that's good. We'll see how they carry on going. Yeah, so very little slug damage so far this year. I feel like it's lulling me into a false sense of security. Surely this can't last. Where are all the slugs? But for the time being, everything remains uneaten, looking fantastic. Oh, here you go, Nan. These are the two little hazel plants that you gave me. They spent the winter in their two tiny pots because I forgot to pot them up last year. But I have repotted them now, and they're just looking, yeah, they're looking really nice. And here we have the potato corner. 6 varieties of potatoes, 18 buckets, 2 first earlies, 2 second earlies, and 2 main crops. They're all in now, and hopefully, according to the weather forecast at least, there shouldn't be any more frosts, so I won't keep having to cover them up and protect them, which is a good thing because several of them are now far too big to just pile leaves on top of. They're doing fantastically well. That's the Red Duke of York, those 3 buckets there, looking fantastic. The Swift is really not living up to its name. It's not nearly so swift. They're growing well, but are being totally outclassed by these guys here. And then I've got Charlotte, Desiree, which just starting. These are the main crop ones, are just starting to poke through. As are the King Edward, just beginning to come through there. Yeah, looking forward to hopefully having some more homegrown spuds on the table this year. And over in this corner of the polytunnel, well, this is where things come when I don't know what to do with them. So I've got a whole tray of calendula that was from saved seed. I've been planting bits and pieces of it here, there and everywhere. Still got quite a lot that I need to do something with. That tray there is Brussels sprouts plants, which I really don't need. I've got 3 planted. I don't like Brussels sprouts. I'm only really planting them as an experiment, so I don't know what I'm going to do with the rest of those. And this tray was all of the various lettuces. And I think I really have crammed in as much lettuce as I'm going to be able to right at this point. So yeah, I probably should just bite the bullet and chuck that lot in the compost heap. But that just feels so wrong. And one last, oh there we go, I was right, it was Spigariello. One last plant that didn't make it into the bed. But yeah, I want to find a spot to put that in somewhere. Behind that table and around the rest of this corner, these are all my herb buckets. Parsley, lemon balm, Egyptian mint, peppermint, lavender. Now, the label on that one just said mint. It's mint. 2 blackcurrant bushes hiding in there as well. Rosemary. Chocolate mint. It's one of my favourite mints. There's 2 buckets of chocolate mint over the back. Although, this one here, black peppermint, this may be my new favourite. This has got an absolutely delicious smell and it's quite spicy. Quite like that. And then this potato tower. Again, just planted up with all sorts of things that I had lying around. There's wallflowers, chamomile, some more calendula and violas, Livingston daisies. I think that's everything in there actually. So yeah, so I'm hoping that this just becomes an absolute mass of flowers as it all grows. Oh, look at that, more strawberries. Really in the wrong place because they were in a little pallet collar bed, but we've expanded the size of the bed, and yeah, this area is once again destined to become tomatoes. These first 3 beds actually are all going to have tomatoes in. So yeah, I need to figure out what I'm going to do with those strawberries. Maybe I'll just plant the tomatoes around them, I don't know. We'll find out on the day. So there we go then, so that's what the plot is looking like, coming up to the end of April. So there's been as you can probably tell, there's been a lot of work that's been going on that hasn't been filmed. A lot of changes, new beds prepped, new spaces opened up, and still a lot more work to go. So yeah, so looking forward to the coming season. There's lots of big plans for abundant tomatoes and cucumbers and all that sort of thing. I'm hoping for more pumpkins this year. Well, more of everything basically. I just, yeah, really want to grow a substantial amount of food this year, and just to see what this plot's capable of. So, thanks for watching.